In this video, you're gonna see me make every Italian brain rat character using candy. Starting with Tung 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 Sahur. Now this one is gonna be easy because most of his body is gonna be this chocolate candy. Now that we have his body, next we add the arms and then add his legs and feet. Look at his cute little toes. The easiest part is making the body, but the hardest part is gonna be making his face. But this is just our first brain rat character, and the characters in this video are gonna get harder and harder as they go. And you might even see some characters you've never heard of before. Top lip, bottom lip. Why did you give him a little kiss? Whoa! I just add a little chin underneath. Oh my goodness. He looks like he's mewing. Nick, you're forgetting the most important part. Right, the club. Actually, the most important part is the eyes. Now this was just our first character, and the next one is Tralaleo Tralala.
Tralalero Tralala.
Step 1 to making this brain rat character is to unwrap vanilla candy, but the problem is I need to add black, and you'll see why. Now that I have gray, I need to add all his little fins. Now you might be just as confused about this character as I am, but he's still missing the most important detail, and I need to make blue candy for it. Now, before I add the final detail, let me know what brain rat character you want me to make next. What did you do to my family? Because Tun 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 Sahur attacked my entire family, my plan is to make Bombadero Crocodilo to get my revenge. But the problem is, I need to mix black with this white candy to make the right shade of gray. And as I was adding the wings and engine, I'm about to show you my secret weapon. Now I'm hoping I'll be able to catch Tun Tun Sahur off guard with my counter strike, but this is still missing the final detail. Now you might wonder how this is gonna work, but you just have to trust the process until I'm done. Tralaleo Trala-whoops! Because Tralaleo Tralala can't swim, my plan is to make Drippy Droppy to go save him. First, I unwrapped orange and vanilla candy, and you'll see why. Now, this might be one of the most confusing Italian brain rat characters, but after making the shrimp body, I needed to make the cat head. Now, this is still missing the final detail, and although you might think this looks confusing, just as I finished, it turns out cats don't like water. You took everything from me! Because Bombadero Crocodilo stole my credit card, my plan is to make Chimpanzini Bananarini to get it back. I started by unwrapping yellow and green candy, and you'll see why. But after adding vanilla to make the banana peel, I have to hurry because he's spending all my money online. Now, after adding the head, he was still missing the final detail. Just then, he decided to betray me and spend my money too.
You stole my prime!
Because Chimpanzini Benini drank Nate's prime, my plan is to make Cappuccino Assassino to get revenge. I started by unwrapping candy, but I had to turn the chocolate candy black with food coloring, and you'll see why. Next, I had to carefully layer the black and white candy and add the arms and legs. But the problem is, after adding his swords, I have to hurry because Nate is thirsty and needs his drink back, and Cappuccino is missing the final detail. Just then, as he was about to attack, he drank the prime.
You stay away from me!
Because Cappuccino Assassino is attacking Nate, my plan is to make Udin Din Do to fight back. I started by unwrapping orange candy, and you probably know why. Now, the reason I'm making this character is because I'm hoping his really strong arms will be able to punch Cappuccino Assassino. But after adding his legs, this next part is gonna be the hardest. So after carefully making the details on his shoes, I have to hurry because he's still missing his final detail. But just as he was going to attack, he missed and hit Nate.
Happy birthday! No!
Because Bombadero Crocodilo stole my cat's birthday cake, my plan is to make Burr Patapim to get it back. I started by unwrapping candy, but the problem was I had to add brown to the vanilla to make it the right color. Now, making candy feet might be one of the weirdest things I've ever done, but after adding his legs and body, I have to hurry if I'm gonna save Sherman's birthday cake. Now, you might think this is looking good, but the problem is he's still missing the final detail. Just then, you will not believe how he betrayed me.
Let me go!
Because Cappuccino Assassino is holding Nate captive, my plan is to make Lidi Li Ladi La to set him free. I started by unwrapping candy, but the problem is I need to turn the vanilla gray, and you'll see why later. And after making his body and sandals, it's time to show you my master plan. Now, I'm hoping after adding his cactus spikes, he'll be strong enough to cut through the rope, but I have to hurry, and he's still missing the final detail. Now, I hope you remembered our gray candy from before, and after adding the elephant head, we cut the rope.
I can't believe you're gone!
Because Cappuccino Assassino killed Tralaleo Tralala, you wanted me to make baby Tralaleo Tralala to carry on his legacy. I started with vanilla candy, but I had to turn it gray, and you'll see why. But as I was shaping his body, I got sad because he started to remind me of his father. Now, you might be thinking this doesn't look right, but that's because I still have to add the fins and shoes. But he's still missing the final detail, and now let me know what baby character you want next.
Where's my phone?
Because Nate lost his phone, my plan is to make Mateo mayo to help find it. I started by unwrapping chocolate candy, but the problem is I need to add vanilla to some of it, and you'll see why. Next, I shaped the chocolate candy into his body and then used the vanilla to make his face. But after adding his feet and hands, he's still missing his final detail, and I have to hurry before Nate crashes out. Now you might be wondering how he's gonna help me find the phone. Just then, it was in Nate's pocket the whole time.
Who wants watermelon?
Because Nate dropped his watermelon, my plan is to make Glorbo Fruit de Drillo to give to him. I started by unwrapping green candy, but I had to add yellow to some of it, and you'll see why later. Next, I formed it into melon shape, but after adding the light green lines, I have to hurry because Nate is getting hungry. But this is still missing the final detail, and you might not see it yet, but it's gonna come together when I'm done.
What happened to you?
Because Cappuccino Assassino killed Tung Tung Sahur, my plan is to make baby Tung Tung Sahur to get revenge. Now you might not know, but you can use his club to grow a new Tung Sahur like a tree. Next, I added more chocolate candy to the club to start making the baby. But if he's gonna get revenge, I need to give him a club of his own. But after adding the final detail, Cappuccino Assassino was too powerful.
You are finally going down!
Because Cappuccino Assassino keeps attacking my friends, you wanted me to make Ballerina Cappuccina to get revenge. I started by forming vanilla candy into a cup, but it's only gonna get harder from here, and you'll see why. And after making her dress and ballet shoes, she's still missing her most important detail. And after adding the latte on top of her head, you might be thinking these eyes look weird. But you just have to trust the process until I'm done. But before I could finish, I could not believe it. They fell in love.
This coffee is cold.
Because Nate doesn't like his coffee, my plan is to make Fruity Frula to replace it. I started by unwrapping chocolate candy, but the problem is I need to turn it black with food coloring, and you'll see why later. Next, I had to make the shape of his body, but after adding the wings and feet, he was still missing his final details. Now, you might be thinking a bird with glasses looks weird, but all I have to do now is give him to Nate.
I'm gonna beat your high score.
Because Nate is trying to break my record in Block Blast, my plan is to make Antali Babel to help me win. I started by unwrapping chocolate candy, but the problem is I need to turn it gray, and you'll see why later. Next, I have to add lines to make this brain rot character look like a Block Blast block. But after adding the feet and hands, this is still missing the most important detail, and I have to hurry before Nate breaks my record. But just as I finished adding his final detail, he stole Nate's phone and set his own record, just like you can if you download Block Blast.
I've got your brain rot.
Because Nate stole my brain rot, my plan is to make a rainbow rare Bombadero Crocodilo to replace it. I started by unwrapping every candy flavor, and you'll see why. But as I was making the wings, Nate was getting suspicious. Now I still have to add the head, but I have to hurry because Nate is nearby. But this is still missing the final and most important details. Just then, as I added the eye, Nate stole my brain rot again.
Give me back my brain rot.
Because Nate stole my rare brain rot, my plan is to make golden Tung Tung Sahur to replace it. I started by shaping lemon candy into the body, but the problem is I have to hurry because Nate is nearby. Now after adding his arms and legs, I still have to add the final detail, and you'll see why. But just as I shaped vanilla candy to make his eyes and mouth, Nate stole my rare brain rot again.
You took my brain rot.
Because Nate stole my gold Tung Sahur, my plan is to make diamond chimpanzini banini to replace it. I started by unwrapping vanilla candy, but the problem is I need to turn it blue, and you'll see why later. After making 2 shades of blue, I started by making the diamond banana. But I have to hurry because this is still missing the details, and I don't want Nate to steal it. But right before I could add the final touch, I heard a noise. Just then, when I went to investigate, Nate stole my brain rot again.
Stop taking my brain rots!
Because Nate keeps stealing my rare brain rots, my plan is to make Rainbow Trippy Tropy to replace them. I started by unwrapping all the candy flavors, but as I was forming the tail, I have to hurry because Nate is starting to get curious. Now I'm hoping this will be the rarest brain rot in my collection, but this is still missing the details. Just then, Nate broke into my studio, but I have a secret cat defense plan, and you're about to see what it is. Now as I was adding the final details to Trippy Tropy's face, I was hoping my cat would distract Nate long enough for me to make the rarest brain rot in my collection. Whoops!